There's literally hundreds of ways to score a goal as a striker. Some require a tremendous amount of skill, some a ton of power and accuracy, and some being in the right place at the right time. But considering all of these techniques, there is one that consistently stands above the rest as being the most accurate, the hardest to save for goalies, and if you get the technique right, it's the most consistent of any finish out there. Yet hardly any strikers are doing it.
Snaps it through to Thierry Henry.
Well, in today's video we're going to dive into the simple technique that good old Thierry Henry made famous back in the 2000s.
Henry scores, doesn't he always?
We'll break down what it is and why it's so effective, and discuss how some of the best finishers in the game are also leaning on this technique, including one very strong, very quick and very clinical striker that is bringing it back in a very big way.
A hat-trick for Haaland.
Hello. So to fully understand this technique, we first need to jump into how most strikers are taught from an early age to finish chances.
And then hopefully this will start to make a little bit more sense.
So the first thing we're taught when finishing is
to get it on target. I mean, that's a given. But secondly is to hit across the goal to the back post.
Now the reason for that is any somewhat experienced goalie, they should be protecting their near post. So in most cases, when we're through on goal, we aim for that back post. And I mean, a lot of the time it works really well. You just need either the right amount of accuracy to place it in the far corner, or a bunch of power and hope you get it past the goalie before he can react. And if you're really good, then you can use a bit of both.
Looking for Ronaldo. It is that man.
Also, by aiming for the back post, if it hits the goalie or you drag it, drag pass, you can claim it as a nice little assist.
Yes.
So that's what strikers are taught, and how most strikers navigate these one-on-one chances. But where the opportunity lies is not on the strong side, but actually the weak side, which if you're a striker, then this situation happens like 50% of the time. And it's this side where a lot of players are actually leaving a bunch of goals on the table over the course of a season. And all it needs is one pretty simple change, and where this Henry technique really starts to take effect.
Rodri now comes forward and into the gap for De Bruyne.
So De Bruyne has just played an inch-perfect pass through to Haaland on his weaker right side. Now a lot of players, and what we're taught, is to continue driving forwards towards the goal, to which the goalie would shift across and cut off the angle, leaving a small window to the far post where you could place or draw the ball. Now this is tough enough on the strong side,
And Schmeichel makes a brilliant save.
Let alone your weak side.
so the odds are very much with the goalie, which we don't want. So let's put the odds in our favour.
So Haaland is through on goal, and rather than the drive forwards, he instead decides to step across the ball. Now, this is key.
Shifting his weight and position to the right, along with his odds of scoring. He's now on his strong side, the left foot.
Which is the first step. But the real gem in doing this is...
bingo. He's now fully opened up that far post, and all that's left is to perform arguably the easiest skill in football. A side foot pass.
Yeah, and that's it. I can do that.
Super controlled, it's out of the reach of the keeper and well inside the post by like 3 feet by the time it crosses the line. And that's the key in all of this, and how Henry managed to score many goals from his weaker side. By opening up his body and getting the ball on his strong foot, he's able to have so much more control over where he places the ball.
Plus, because he's bending it around the goalie as opposed to sort of towards the goalie, it gives him so much more goal to aim at, which massively increases his odds of scoring. Genius.
Breakthrough from Thierry Henry.
So how do we go about training this?
Well, super simple.
First up, the shift and pass. Start with a cone, say 3 steps in from the post. This will act as our target throughout all 3 drills. Then place a cone on the penalty spot. Start a few yards back, take a light dribble towards the cone, and as you arrive, give it a touch 90 degrees to the side using the outside of your foot. This creates that open posture, mimicking that same getting around the ball approach, then using the inside of your foot, pass it into the bottom corner. Practice using the outside to tee it up, but also the left foot to add some variety. Inject a little bit more pace and get super confident with this movement before moving on. Alright, the second exercise. Create a bit more of an angle now, as if you're coming in from the weaker side. Place 2 cones, say a foot apart, somewhat angled from the goal. The same kind of approach, aiming for that inside cone. Then set the ball forwards with a gentle touch into the space. Then it's your job to get around the cone and meet back up with the ball to slot it in the bottom corner. Now it's important to match the speed of the ball, so that set touch is really important. Too much power and the ball's back in front of you, which is more ideal for that lefty strike. And not enough power and you'll leave the ball behind for a defender to nab. Nab. So just enough to set yourself and open up the body for a nice little pass into the corner as you peel away to the left. Alright, last up, combine the two. So still at that angle, place 3 cones in a rough line to represent the location and reach the keeper. Now we're going to draw an imaginary line from the front post in line with the cone furthest to the left, but also another line from the back post in line with the cone to the right. Where they intersect, place a cone and then move it back 1 step. This will give us the space to work the magic and to bend it around the goalie's reach. Alright, so again starting from the edge of the box, dribble towards that single cone as we arrive, taking a touch to the side of the cone to set it, before again coming around the cone and meeting up with the ball with the instep, passing it around that right cone or outstretched keeper, peeling away to the left to retrieve the ball. Practice different speeds, different angles of the set, then once it's feeling more intuitive, you can get all fancy with some top bins, little lobs, and away you go.
Now, as good as this technique is, it's important that you use it as a tool. There's a time and a place for it, and there's going to be moments in the game where you are going to have to depend on your weaker side, whether that's lack of space or a defender on your tail. And this video right here will help you develop the fundamentals that are really going to help with that process. But if you've nailed your weaker side, the next step is to stand out on the pitch and to ensure you don't buckle under the pressure when you're next in a one-on-one situation. And this video right here will help you achieve just that. All right, my turn.